So hello, here's the first video on my channel, or proper video of me talking. Gonna do a quick review of my own bike, which is a Speed Triple 1050. It's 2012, so about 12-year-old now. Done about 2,000 miles on the bike since I've got it, and so far it's my favourite bike that I've had. It's in Diablo Red. Got a little windscreen on there. I like the bug eyes over the, or the angular eyes over the circle bug eyes. I think it looks much more modern. Got bar end mirrors. Well, mirror, shall we say, because one fell off when I was in the Lake District. Overall, pretty tidy bike. Got a Dunlop Road Smart 3s on, I think they are. Not too keen on them. But they're nearly out of life on the front, so I'll be replacing them shortly. Thinking of the Michelin powered GP2s, but might go the Road 6s. Got the low boy exhaust on. Normally it has the two twin underpipes under the seat. That's why it's got the raised indicators. Probably should change that at some point and get them a bit lower down, but yeah, a bit busy on this road. Probably picked not a great road to do it on, but yeah, got a Scorpion aftermarket exhaust. The bike's been ceramic coated, so it's in pretty good condition. Has been dropped, that's why I got it cheap, cracking that panel and a dent there. But yeah, just going to do a little one take review. I'm going to attempt to without editing. Just take it for a little blast, tell you what I think, and we'll see. I'll probably edit this next bit until I get going, so technically it's not one take. The bike is warm already. So if you couldn't hear that too well, it does pop and bang a lot. Pretty sure it's remapped for the twin pipes, it's ever so slightly different than the single pipe. So yeah, it's about 130 horsepower, about 200 and a little bit kilos, and an absolute joy to ride. Now, I've had the suspension set up at Weardale. An XTT rider sets up the bike for your weight, how you rise, what you kind of want, and it's absolutely changes the bike. So best £50 I've ever spent. I don't think it's too much money. I'd pay a lot more now that I've had it done once. I'd definitely get it done on my next bike. But yeah, I've had a few bikes. Started off with a Triumph Daytona. Didn't really enjoy it because it was my first bike and I was a bit of a newbie. Never rode before. This is I passed 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So not a great bike. Ended up getting a Phaser FZ6 instead. Learned a lot on that bike, but it was a bit too much of a commuter style bike. I wanted a bit more fun. Engine was great. Ended up going for a Tiger 1050 after that, so same bike, I mean same engine as in this, just this one's a bit more up to date. And then went back to a sports bike. I got a GSXR 750. Loved that bike, it was just too uncomfortable for me. I'm about 6 foot tall and quite heavy, and I just didn't enjoy all the weight on my wrists. So after that, ended up with this, and so far it's the best bike I've had. It's pretty much do it all. Seat's not the comfiest, but it's not uncomfortable. Can do about an hour and a half before I really want to get off, but you know, I stop for 10-15 minutes and get back on. Whereas the J6R, I did an hour and I wanted to go home, so limited my ride, and the sun's coming out there, which is nice. yeah, so the bike's pretty agile. I was going to go for a 675 rather than this, but I'm glad I went for this because it's similarly agile, but it's got a lot more torque and punch from the engine. Now, you know, outright speed, they're both very similar. This is got 20 more horsepower or so, but it does weigh a hell of a lot more as well. Now it fits my build quite well. I like the fun. It's a bit boisterous, loves doing wheelies. Brakes are warped on my bike here. They do stop me. They're pretty good. They're the Brembo master cylinder and Brembo calipers, so pretty strong brakes, but they are warped, so I need to replace them. So I'll probably do a video on that, maybe do some service videos and whatnot. Maybe working on some friends' bikes, and don't know. Obviously, it's an old bike, so no one's really interested in it. But I did a lot of research before I bought it and watched all the videos that was out there, so thought I'd do a good review. Suppose this, like I say, this bike came out 12 years ago, so it's not up to date with technology, really. It's got ABS. I don't think it was standard for my year, but it was shortly after. Got ABS and that's it. I mean, it's got heated grips on, and by that I mean a heated grip, because only one of them works. So I just got loads of little tinkering and do things like that, which I don't mind doing. It's part of owning a bike. You always spend a fortune on them. Let you hear the soundtrack a little bit if it opens up. So yeah, triple engine, 1050cc, absolute great noise, especially with the aftermarket exhaust on. Now I like a loud bike, so it's a little bit obnoxious without the baffling, but not my problem. It sounds great while I'm on it. No, I'm not really an advocate for loud pipe save lives or anything like that, but I do like a loud bike. But yeah, it's October today, decent temperature. Not too sunny. It was meant to be sunny today, but it's about 13-14 degrees, which is fine. Thought, why not get a few more rides in before it gets put away and serviced and maintained over the winter. But yeah, the idea of this channel is sort of do a few bike reviews. Obviously this is my own bike, so I'll do some trips and reviews, and then a few friends' bikes that I've rode that I'd like to do a review on. Now I was thinking that obviously my opinion doesn't mean much to anyone. No one knows me. No, I'm not the best rider, but I suppose that applies to most of us. We're all average Joes. Most of us are not racers and stuff. So if I like it, you might like it. If you're similar to me, similar size and height and build and riding ability, you might like the same bikes I like. Like I say, I'm not no MCN or 44 teeth, nothing like that. No professional riding history. Just a pretty bog standard rider. I just like getting out and having fun. But yeah, I'll record some of my trips and stuff. I've just been to the Lake District with some friends and family and stuff on the bike, and we had a great time. Recorded a few videos, so you might see some of them, but next year obviously I'll book some trips and plan them and get the full footage of them. I'm recording on the Osmo Action 4, which I've had for a while. A lot of teething issues trying to get it to record nice footage. Got the wireless mic too. Good mic, it just had some clipping issues to start with, but I've sort of figured that out. Gonna look at upgrading already the camera to the Action 5, because you can connect two mics to it wirelessly, which would be a nice thing. One for my voice, one for the exhaust, to isolate them a little bit. Whereas right now you've got one mic and it's doing both. So here's my apologies if the mic quality isn't great. The helmet's quite cramped for me and the mic is pretty close to my mouth. I do have the gain turned right down, but you might hear my breathing every now and again. Sound like an out of breath pug breathing in your ear. But yeah, I'll sum up the bike, I would say it's, you know, it is one of the best bikes I've ridden. I've ridden quite a few. I've obviously only owned sort of 4 or 5. But for me, it does everything right. The position is nice. You know, I'm not too aggressive. The knees are pretty aggressive, but like, I suppose they're not that dissimilar from a sports bike, but because you're not so tucked forward onto the bars, it's sort of a nice position to be in. It makes you feel sporty. Whereas, like I said, the Tiger is like this bike on stilts. That's a nice, relaxed position. Does take away some of the fun when you're trying to ride. So, obviously, being a naked bike, it's sort of in the middle of a sports bike and an adventure bike, sort of. Well, a taller bike. I think it's the best of both worlds. I got an adventure bike before and thought, well, you know, I don't really go off-road just yet. I don't do massive tours. I'd rather put a backpack on and a tail pack and go away for the weekend on this than buy a bike that I might go away on if I get a chance. But yeah, this bike's neat. I think it's 27,000 miles I'm at on this now, so I think it's just sort of getting worn in. I had 45,000 on the Tiger and I did about 8 of them, I'd say, somewhere around that. But yeah, the bike's very agile. It pulls really hard. First, second, third gear sort of want to rip your face off, and stick it in 4th, 5th or 6th and it just relax, and it'll poot along nice and quiet and smooth. It won't vibrate. It's a sort of weird experience to have a bike that wants to kill you but also doesn't if you don't want it to. Now, in outright speed, of course, my GSXR 750 was way quicker, but it was borderline unusable for me on the road. I didn't enjoy it. It was, I mean, first gear did about 90 miles an hour on that bike. Second gear was over a ton, and you know, you're getting in trouble there. So whereas this bike, let's say I use up to sort of 3rd and 4th, and then you're getting into silly speeds. But you know, it's a fight keeping the wheel down half the time, and that's half of the fun. It sort of feels alive. Plenty of torque down low and plenty of top end, which is obviously the great thing about a triple. Yeah, I need to get these brakes checked definitely, because they put you off a little bit when they start juddering. Apologies for the wind noise here. I have to open the visor because my pin lock's broken. Yeah, as you say, wheelies are doddle. I mean, it power wheelies 1st, 2nd, sometimes 3rd if the road's a bit bumpy. It clutches up in 4th if you really want to. Now, I'm not a big wheelie, I can't do mile long ones, just little ones like that, but it's fun, you know. A bit silly, I suppose. But yeah, it's got some of the best suspension I've had, and like I say, I'm not rich by any means. It's, you know, the bike's a budget bike. It's pretty old. I'd love something new, but can't afford it, so this is what I've got to do with it. So far, it's probably the best suspension I've had, the best feeling and feedback. It's pretty confident. I don't trust the tyres too much, but I do trust the bike. I love the power delivery. It's smooth and linear, but also does want to rip your arms off, especially at sort of 8,000 and above. It's got a pretty low red line of 10,000. But if anyone's out there in the market for a sort of a naked Sportster, you know, a sports bike's too much for them, an adventure bike's too old man for them, then definitely take a look at something naked. The best of both worlds with positioning and sportiness, feedback and stuff. They're pretty agile, you know. On a track you're probably loose to a sports bike, but on the road, in the real world, you know, there's no difference. But yeah, I'm back, well, nearly back home now in the sunny seaside town of Mask. It's not very sunny, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, this is going to say, this is my first review. Let me know what you think. So I'll do plenty in the future, I imagine. You know, a lot of friends who said I can have a go on their bike and stuff, and which is a weird thing, because you know, you don't often swap cars with people, but every time you get a bike and someone's got a license, you always just say, oh, have a go with me, have a go. But you wouldn't really do that in your car. Well, I wouldn't. But yeah, call it a day there. Thanks for watching if you've watched it. Might give you a little rev bomb for this tunnel if you like it. Brap.